Bang, bang. Hey now. What's going on there, Mr. Fast?
Oh, I got my YouTube open. I was hearing everything double.
Probably
Flood move.
talking in both places. Woo.
Yep. It's
Oh,
pretty
man.
exciting.
So how the hell are you, man? I'll tell you what, I'm beat. I am beat. I didn't think I could feel any more exhausted with PulseChain, but I am exhausted.
It's been a long haul, that's for sure. But like, I don't know, people like the idea of there being a beginning and the end. I'm not sure that's the best way to think about it, right? Like, all the people who are going to sell the top, it's like, no, you're probably not going to sell the top. You might not even sell, everything that you have. You might hold some things that, that I think it's okay to have that mindset of this is, this will continue, meaning that you need to take breaks.
The beatings will continue. Is that what you're saying?
Meetings will continue until morale improves.
Until morale improves. That was always a good Navy saying, Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't mean this literally, but conceptually, always be buying, always be selling.
Concept's good.
Kind of like a crazy concept there, because I'm struggling with that too. Because now I'm seeing references. I don't know, 3-4 references the last couple of days about taking profits. People talking about things I agree with. Things like having written plans, have goals. Know what you're going after. Because sometimes, I'm not suggesting, by the way, we're at the top at all. I'm just saying that I'm beginning to see people talk about it, and so I'm in that kind of range too, where I'm like, yeah, you got to think about this stuff.
I think like a lot of people are going to or have, they've swapped themselves out of their bags, right? Like it's, buying and selling isn't always good, right? I like dollar cost crypto's plan that I heard him say once of sell 10% on every double.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like that's a safe thing. And I've done that only with, some meme coins and this and that. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, you're left holding a bag, but like you didn't sell too early, typically. And if there's, let's say there's 10 doubles, like you sold a lot of your bag, right? And you sold it for a lot more than if you'd sold it all at the first double.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that too. All right. How would you maximize in a crypto cycle, knowing that almost none of this you can really know, but in theory, right, the way you would maximize returns is you would buy at the lowest price and sell at the highest price.
If you had a crystal ball, that is a fantastic plan.
Yeah. And then so it ends up being in my mind, right? Because you can't do that, probably can't do that.
Chances are.
Then probably what's going to end up happening is you're going to have what they call lost opportunity cost. Now, sometimes lost opportunity cost is because you made a risk adjusted play. Like you're waiting for a confirmation, like a TA guy. You're waiting for a confirmation that the market's going to move in the direction that you want it to go. And so therefore you don't take the buy on the first indicator, you take the buy after the confirmation, whether you're a 3 candle confirmation guy, lady, whatever, or whatever, right? And there's different levels of risk that go with all that stuff. So just kind of like in general, right? You have to be okay with the idea you're not going to capture the full thing, right? And then on the all the way on the other end is you also don't, unless you planned for it as a hodl, which means hold on for dear life. You probably don't want a round trip.
Most things that would be the case, right? Though, like I don't know. Like, what if you round tripped Bitcoin that you bought at $1,200? Like, how sad would that be now? Like, it's just depends on what your mindset is, and if there's something about that token, that coin, that project, where it makes sense to hold over a longer period of time. So if you looked at a 5-year time span, does holding make more sense than not holding? Right? Like, obviously, if you look at like the highs and the lows in one cycle, like be like, yeah, if you could have hit the bottom and you could hit the top, then holding would make less sense, right? But
Yeah.
assuming you don't have that skill or crystal ball, then there could be a case for like looking at 5-year timelines of like, is it a benefit? This will it be a benefit for me to have this coin at the price I bought it in 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think, of course, we don't know that crypto is going to follow same patterns, right? But if we had gone back, and I did this the other day with somebody, if I had gone back and I was like, hey, when Bitcoin was $300, it would have been a really good buy to hold till now. Oh, no brainer, right? At the time, maybe I didn't think that, right? Same thing with ETH or anything else. So yeah, so then I did hear that. I don't think I'm saying anything I shouldn't say with this, because I think Randy's pretty vocal. Randy Hilarski is pretty vocal about the way he approaches things. But he did make a good comment on one of his internal streams the other day, which is you have to be careful, but also have a plan, because some people interpret taking profit as, hey, right now I'm going to take profit, and they expend their bag before you get the big parabolic push. And then all of a sudden it's like, instead of having gotten 10x, 20x, 30x, they're like, I got my 1.5x, and then you're not exposed to it anymore. And I think that's where the DCA approach comes in. Figure out your hodl, put it aside, whatever your
DCA in
strategy
and
is.
DCA out, I think
Yeah.
sounds like the awesomest advice. That I wish, like, if rather than, I moved into, PulseChain with the sacrifices, right? Like, rather than doing that, if I DCA'd, like, I'll sacrifice some and then I'll buy some this month and next month and next month. I'm pretty sure the math would have been better than if I went in all at once, right? So you can DCA in, dollar cost average in, and then you could dollar cost average out, and I suspect it would have similarly good performance compared to, my capabilities of predicting today is the exact top.
Yeah, it's going to be the problem everybody has, right, with this stuff, right? I mean, we all
Yep.
struggle with that
There's
because
going to be a ton of geniuses who think they're right. Today's the top, and they're gonna call it, and a lot of them are going to be wrong, and they'll look like a genius for a couple days maybe, and then they won't, right? I think that's going to happen a lot.
oh, I got a super sticker. I got to put my glasses on to read it. Hold on. By the way, I do sell these pictures on my Only Hex fans. Let's see.
It's just a super stick. That's it.
AKA JA Soul. 99-cent super sticker. Thanks, my friend.
Score.
Yeah, I think that you're right about that, about how to do it. Now, I know there's going to be some people who can absolutely pick the top, and I'm not going to dispute it.
Maybe.
But
And like, I have guys I talk to who are like, they're better at it than me, so I'll get their opinion, but like, they're not always right. And
oh,
the
of
smart
course.
guys will recognize that in themselves. Like, they'll be like, I think it's this, but like, there's always 17 answers. I think it's this, but it could also be this. It could go up here, or it could go down, then up. Then it can, like, it's not clear in a transparent sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, MVS Crypto. Good morning, legends. We're here for the pulse. I'm here for 14 pulses. How about that?
I'm here for the
14
99-cent
pulses.
super chats.
The 99-cent super chats, 14 pulses, right?
It's the
I'll,
real
I'll,
reason we're doing this.
I'll pay $1 for that. Yeah. So yeah, I think that probably brings up a good point, because I'll share a screen. Let me see if I have this ready. This is something that I like to follow, which is this golden ratio. I probably need to be purchasing this trading view, huh? Because I
If
don't
you're a
pay for
trader.
yeah, I don't pay for it. I use the free version of it. I always get these things, but what I like to do is follow this GRM. I won't go into a whole lot of detail here about it, but the golden ratio multiplier. And I can show a couple different things. Sorry about the white space, guys. This is kind of how I roll with this. But this one happens to be an indicator. It gives very clear potential sell in red points and green for buy points, right? So buys and sells. And so just like very, very, very high level, BTC looking good, right? Looking good. Looking like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. 119,000 per token and change, high of 123,000. Using something like this kind of indicator just to show what can happen to people is, we did get a sell back in April of 21, on Bitcoin, which was a really good point to take profit on Bitcoin, but you did not know there was going to be a second top. You didn't know. We didn't know. I mean, some people said there was going to be a even higher top, but there wasn't, right?
Oh
Didn't
yeah,
go any higher.
yeah. So
It
many
came in about
people
the
would have been
same
wrong
level.
on the second top, and that they didn't keep going after the second top. The second top, I remember in the moment because I got into crypto only shortly before that happened. I remember that the second top made you feel like it was going to keep going, like there'd be a third top, there'd be a fourth top.
Yeah, 100%. And there were a whole bunch of people in this May to July timeframe who were saying it was never coming back. It was over.
So
And technically, maybe that was true, certainly by these types of indicators. But I'll show you another. I'm just trying to demonstrate, how I could be wrong, right, by using an indicator like this. So this one matched pretty good. I mean, this was April of 21. But let's go look at Ethereum for a moment and see what that is. See where the sell came in on Ethereum? It came in about a month earlier, right? March of 21.
interesting.
Right over here. But that wasn't the top
Mhm.
for Ethereum, right?
Pretty close
And
though, right?
and so it was close, but it was still way off. I mean, that was only about $1,800, right? It doubled in price going into May, right? More than doubled
Okay.
over to
Yeah,
up to
huge difference then.
42,
Yeah.
over to 42. And my point about that isn't for people to read the charts and stuff, but like on this stream, be like, oh, let me study this. My point is sometimes these are just warning signs, whether you're using other indicators and other crosses or whatever, they're warning signs that you're getting close to a parabolic top. But we don't know sometimes what these big players will do. The institutions, people can move the market. Sometimes the retail will move things. And so, yeah, this would be a great example of, hey, if I had bought now here's the argument, right? If I had bought the lowish of ETH, and it was 125 bucks when I bought it, a $2,000 profit realization, it wouldn't be profit, but $2,000 take profit mark is pretty good. I mean, 125 to 2,000, but it wasn't 4,000. And so I think that the challenge people are going to have is what's enough? What is enough? When is enough? And that's where, of course, it's DeFi. You're going to make your own decisions, taking it
The
slow.
DCA thing could really work in this scenario, right? Like, if
It
you'd
could,
sold some of your bag at 1,800, but you still had, even like a third of it at $5,000, you'd feel
yeah,
pretty good about that third.
yeah, 100%, right?
And then of course
Uh,
you'd still be holding after the top with that plan, but like, if you bought ETH at like whatever $900, like you would have most of your bag would be gone by that point, right? It would just be like the amount you sold per unit, like the value per unit would have been much higher.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. And then of course on ETH, we didn't know we were going to see a second top on ETH as well, right? which went just maybe a little bit higher, right up to 4,500, 4,600. Well, I guess it's from the screen, 4,800. We didn't know that was going to happen either, right? And so again, with these kinds of scenarios, assuming you already took your HODL bag off the market, right? You got to put it away and you're not looking at it and you're not going to that. And you have to decide what levels you're okay with before the market might turn. Now, interestingly enough, right, this last cycle, we were sitting over here in May. That happened. Things messed around all summer. We had the sacrifices and all that. We got to the end of the year, right? And we're out here in like January 22, and we kind of had this little bit of I wouldn't call it a dead cat bounce, but it had this bounce down. And I was actually talking to people about how I was pretty sure it was over, as far as the cycle. But damn, did we have the hope, man. We were like, no, this time, I mean, in a group of people, this time is different. It's going to keep going. Things have changed, fundamentally have changed. And so
famous last words.
But it wasn't changed. It wasn't changed. Right? It didn't change. And so we had this kind of like period of time, we get into 22, and then I guess some other people figured out it didn't change and it went down, right? And then we ended up with the buy signals, 6 months later.
So if things are not different in this cycle, where does that put us for like the high?
Don't know. I mean, I think we're still using Bitcoin as an example only, because we know it still has strong effects, though not the same type of effect that it used to, but still has strong effects. We can see that it crossed one of the moving averages, this blue line here, and almost hit the yellow line when it got up to its high, right? So I'm on Bitcoin, yeah. All right, so we had gone across the blue line, almost got up to the yellow, but then the top was right below the blue. And so in the world of less gains each cycle, then I would be expecting to come in below the line below the blue, which is this red, which is 176K right now. But the longer we're in the cycle, and this is going up, the higher these averages go. And plus, this time may be different, right? Like I'm going to say it. Right? I'm going to say it. This time might be different. Look at this long period from when the buys came in, and how many days that's been. And these buy signals now are perfect, but just looking at the days, this was like we're over 1,000 days in since we got buy signals. Right. Last time we had gotten buy signals right after, right around here, which was January 2019. Let's see how long it took for that. See how far off that is. About 800 days before we topped out. And so that makes me think, again, I can't guarantee that's what will happen, right? I don't know, right? That'll be 100, 1,000 days or whatever. But we're 200 days further along in a cycle. We had the ETF launch. We had, all these institutions come in. They keep pumping the price up. They keep acquiring it and making it more rare. Do we have another 600 days? Do we have 300 days, 200 days? How much longer will this go? And I do know there are some people are still strongly in the belief that the cycle ends this year, beginning of next year. But there's also some people that are talking about there being some sort of a DeFi type of spring next year, or maybe that'll be the all-time highs on ETH and Bitcoin. And then there's even people saying, nope, it's going to be a full cycle. And, a whole year of 2026 that will be in the bull run. It's just been elongated out by a year. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think you can like pick a price, but I do think that 240 for Bitcoin still on the cards. That's a Richard Hart call, right? 240K. It's still on the cards. Yeah, because that would only be, somewhere around here. And
He pretty much called the top on Bitcoin last time, right?
yeah, he uses,
Okay.
I wouldn't say he uses this chart per se, but he watches some of the same things, because what you're looking for is the parabola to be so strong that it's obvious that it can't continue to go up, right? And you can see that with some of the crosses that people use and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, but market wise, other than weird things like XRP, where now we're above the last sell, right, and where it topped out, it's continuing to climb. It's bouncing off its 2 times a 350-day moving average. It tested that a bunch of times. It's at 350, hit a mark of 366. This one's going to be a little less sure for us to figure out when we might get signals, but I think we'll start getting some obvious crosses where people, and a lot of different tokens will be like, oh yeah, we better be looking at this now.
If
And even
Bitcoin hits 240K, then if Ethereum even just followed along, like that would be like a $7,000-8,000 Ethereum, right?
yeah, I'm thinking that so again, I'm using just funny math numbers. We did, ETH did a 44x from the bottom to the top last time. And I think the nearest Fibonacci X number is like 34x below it. And ETH bottomed about 1,000. So I would put, and this is like purely made up. Like I'm like, anything could happen, right? So maybe somebody's gonna come buy 2 trillion of ETH, but 34K for a stretch high would be reasonable. You drop, I mean, you drop down below that. Maybe you're looking anywhere, I think when we do the fibs with the golden ratio, of course, this is my theory. Well, it's not my theory. I'm using somebody else's theory, but I'm looking at the fibs, like a fib type of number like this is, the Fibonacci sequence is a 3 and a 5. You add the 3 and the 5, it's an 8. You add the 8 and the 5, it's a 13. You add an 8 and the 13, it's 21. So 21,000 would be the next level down, right? And so that's interesting. And then you bring it even further back, you're looking at that
I like the
13 to,
44,000. We can just stay with that. That's fine.
I like all of them. I like them all, but it seems to me like we're within striking distance of a 3x for E.
44,000 though puts 7 billion in the sack bags. I think that's a nice number.
Nice round,
It's comfortable.
number. Of course, we go to the ETH chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so when we look at the ETH chart and how it topped out and went over the yellow line over here, almost hit the orange. And in this case, I'd be looking at the blue almost hitting the yellow. And right now, blue is about 8K, and the yellow is 10. And it's not hasn't. And ETH is only now beginning to curl up. You can see the 111-day in the black curling up pretty strongly, right? Because of this parabolic move. But these 350-day derivatives here for averages, they're going to start rising. And so then as they rise up, then things like, a target of 12, 13, $15,000 ETH makes sense, right? At least according to this, right? But again, it's not exactly not exact science. Kind of a little bit of magic, kind of guessing.
I could live with $12,000 ETH.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
That'd be
and this we can turn this to PulseChain and look at Pulse, right? But that's the whole point. Higher you go, the less R&R you have, risk reward you have for going up. And so if we we see something like a 3 or 7x on ETH, and we're up at 20, let's say we do go to 20K. Is there a chance it could go all the way, go to 34? Sure. Why not go to 52? But you don't know that. So you have to make some sort of, you don't know it's for sure. And so you have to make some sort of risk adjustment. It's really a whole frame of mind, right? About what you're going to be willing to stay in for. But I don't know anything. I only know enough to be able to look backwards and say, boy, I should have done that X, Y, and Z. But again, why do people take the actions that they take when they take them? No, I can only guess unless they tell you.
Fear and greed, man. It's all about the fear and greed.
Fear, greed. Maybe they have a plan and it's enough. That part's good. We saw some of these people really dumping heavily and moving into ETH over the last couple of weeks. Maybe they believe the narrative of ETH and they want to take the elevator ride up and go up with ETH. And then they plan to come back, and because this is a thing too, we talked about it the other night with Marcus and RG3, right? You kind of flip back, right? Back and forth. If you got the fortitude to be able to do this kind of stuff with big money, people will ride ETH up, and then they will pick another. Oh, kitty. They'll pick another token or ecosystem they want to get into. They'll swap those gains, but they'll be the first movers, right? They'll be on the bleeding edge, and the people follow. Other people see it and follow the green candles, and because they were first movers, they also have the opportunity to get the most X's and just kind of like follow that path of moving and rotating, right?
Totally. Speaking about trading and tools and stuff like that, I had somebody ask me today why we don't have any real good trading tool on PulseChain that will give you like breakdowns of tokenomics and that sort of thing, like you'd have on CoinMarketCap, for example. Do you know of anything?
What do you mean, descriptors for like tokenomics? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like, look, where you could just put in like a PulseChain token and you could look up like the holders. Like, and I know I can do that with the blockchain explorers or that sort of thing. But like where you could see that like the inflation of the token, if it was inflationary, any of the token mechanics, like anything other than like a chart and like just the holder count, right? Like more advanced trading tools for PulseChain. Is that a thing?
Well, it's a thing in some groups and with some people, yes. So here's my quick assessment of that.
Okay.
It's not straightforward, right? It's DeFi. People can create lots of tokens and do lots of different things. We even have tokens on PulseChain and even on Ethereum too. It's not just PulseChain, where you can change the name and the ticker symbol, like in flow, right?
Really?
So there are things that can happen with contracts and what people are doing with contracts, which AKA are the token contracts, turning things on and off and all the other stuff, right? That from the outside looking at 100,000 tokens, you can't know everything about everything, and you wouldn't do it anyways because there's no demand for all information. And so
I still feel like we don't have one site where I could tell somebody go here, you'll learn all about trading on PulseChain, right? Like we don't have quite the same level of tools for traders that exist on other chains.
Yeah, there's some of that, I think. I think the tools are pretty good, and that's why I kind of said information's power. And while PulseChain's done a really good job of providing free access to information, it still requires work to go do the data science.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so I kind of feel it for some of the things I get involved in because like, am I really going to spend 10,000 hours working on something that isn't a paid service. It's not that I'm looking to get paid. I'm just saying it's like, it's 10,000 hours for something that only a few people might use. So I think what you end up seeing are things like, I'm really interested in these 3 tokens. I have the ability to get the information. So I go get the information for these 3 tokens. But it's my information that I developed for myself or for my group. And it's not public information because it needs to be curated and handled carefully, right? Let's give Pesky an acknowledgement here.
Oh,
Thank you, Pesky. She says you're worth more than 99 cents.
nice. $2. That's American dollars too. That's like $7 Canadian or something. Nice.
That's a oh yeah, that's a lot of loonies.
Indeed.
Indeed. Thank you, Pesky. So yeah, anyways, just kind of like talk about it. I agree with that. I mean, I see people asking all the time because Rabby and D-Bank was doing a great job.
Where that was it was really nice to have that tool, particularly D-Bank obviously had a lot of data and you could access it so quickly. Like not that
Right.
you couldn't get that information somewhere else, but to get it fast. So I hope when Richard Hart does whatever his wallet thing is that includes that level of data. I would prefer he didn't do a wallet and he just forks D-Bank for PulseChain. Like
Yeah, and
that's what we really need.
I won't have all of the I won't have all the names off the top of my head, but there are a number of people who step forward to try to fill that gap. But again, it's like this, it's the same thing. I got this guy over here who did one. He's doing it on his time. It's not a paid service, right? He's not
Very hard to make
advertised.
money off of stuff like that, right?
Well,
Like,
right.
how
But
do you
see,
make money off of that service?
you gotta have traffic. And if you have traffic, you
Yeah.
can get advertisers, and that gets you into that whole other thing. So we end up with a bunch of spot apps, right? With people who have time right now to go try to build something that may or may not last. And it's not, it's not perfect, but it is DeFi, man. It's kind of like
True.
that's kind of like that. Like if you said to me, hey, I go tell me all the tokens I have in my wallets, I can do that for you, but I'm not going to do that. I can't do that for all wallets all the time and keep it up to date the way something like D-Bank did, because it had a whole infrastructure behind it, which is likely one of the reasons it, of course they also got the bash pretty good afterwards, but
Yeah.
you gotta figure that was, I would say minimum just running that service was a 50K, 100K price per year. Per year.
Per year, you think? Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm being really like super cheap, but yeah, per month, because it wouldn't be too odd, because with all the traffic that you need in the database.
But it's pulling a lot of data, right? Like they were pulling lots of data, so it wouldn't have been free. It would have required constant maintenance, and but yeah, it's just sad that they didn't reach out to the community for support. I think they would have found it, but instead they found something else.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, that's water under the bridge. I don't want to beat up on them, but like you said, some other things will be coming. Now I've looked at Liberty Swap a little bit, Billy Bob. I don't know. Have you checked into this at all, Bess?
Yep, I haven't tried it myself. Honestly, I should just do it as a test. It's just not. It's not one of my problems getting money onto PulseChain. I got some money on PulseChain, and when I do get money onto PulseChain, I find the best route for me is to use the RH bridge, right? But if you're doing smaller amounts, I think this is a fantastic tool. Or if you're new and you don't want the difficulty of using Liberty Swap, then I think of using the Richard Hart bridge, then I think Liberty Swap's great. And the cross chain thing, like it is pretty cool. And I know some smart people who have tried it and do trust it, and have told me that. So I feel like I trust this. I also remember that Richard Hart posted about it, which is fairly unusual. So I feel like maybe that nod meant something.
Yeah, no kidding.
10K East coming.
Because of my stature, where I sit with things, I did not jump into most and pump and participate, and all that stuff, you know, like
You
heavy.
didn't
And
you
but I
didn't
know some,
mortgage your house and bridge in. Yeah.
but
You did.
some people did pretty well with that. And but then, right,
Yeah, of course.
it is crypto, so up and down, you know. Frank saying 10K ETH coming. Yeah, I think it's not financial advice, but it seems obvious it's going to go to those kind of levels. But hey, who knows, man? People can, you know, and that's the thing. Is it's not about picking a number, which I would urge everybody to kind of like. It's good to be aware, but not be focused too much on just what number you're looking for everything. It's more about what's happening on chain. You know, so you know, like for instance, if it looks like we're running out of buyers, that's better indicator than exactly what price. It's more important to know that we're running out of buyers for whatever. You know,
What happens when you run out of buyers?
it does happen. It does happen, right? You know, and then yeah, hey Pesky, I agree. Everybody, smash the buttons, smash them, like and
Yeah. Right.
subscribe.
Press like, press share, and then press X, then press post. I did a post about this earlier today that like people just need to start sharing pulse chain influencer stuff. Even if you don't really like the influencers in question, all right, it's just time to get the word out. And you know, you guys have the power to just press the buttons. Can be the best thing you can do.
Yeah, it's getting more information out to more people for sure. So I'm assuming Kyle's saying that December 18th will be the top around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, not Eastern time.
Maybe.
I
Maybe
think
that's Kyle's birthday. We don't know.
that's probably pretty reasonable, Kyle. I mean, you know what we saw we saw a top at the end of 21 ish, and then we also had seen a top at the beginning of 2018. And so that time frame that fits kind of like 4-year cycle time frame, like November to January. But again, we'll be watching because you know we're going to be super interested, right? There's some things that that could happen. It could, like we said, it could get extended, right? It could. I don't want to say it won't. You know, I see the
There's for
tam
sure some
tam.
wild cards. Like we still have Trump as the president. Like, what if like massive crypto things are passed that make it more bullish and at least adds another 6 months, right? Like, that's not impossible.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Tam.
Tim, hey, I'm sorry I did not get you a message that I was doing this stream, but here I am. Here I am. Shell Fox is saying 2 more weeks. Yeah, 2 more weeks. I don't know.
Always.
Always 2 more weeks. In terms of like cycle, I think we still have months in the gas tank here, but we'll see where it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
Die
I
Hard
had
have. Good.
yep, DCA. I
Yeah, I
had
was
some
just
more
going
questions
to
for you.
say that about. I was just going to say to Die Hard. I agree. Right, DCing in the bear and the upside. Don't forget to take profits throughout. Yeah, that kind of goes back to that concept of always be buying, always be selling. And again, it's not specifically like do that. It's more like this concept of being aware that hey, there are times where if you get involved in something mid-cycle that goes up pretty good, it's likely when it does 1,000x, it's going to come back down. And so a lot of people will be like, no, I'm going to wait for the next big hit. All right,
This
hit me
next
with
6 months is going to be the big time where, you know, even if you were just getting in now, I feel like not financial advice, just my interpretation is like yeah, if you just bought into Pulse Chain or anything today, that this could be the best 6 months. You know, one way or another. Anyway, my next question was
your
about validators.
validators.
Do you know much about validators?
Yeah, I know a little bit. I mean, not an expert, but I can share my thoughts.
It's the data that I'm looking for. I want to like, is there a place that I can go where I can look at how much validator yield is created on a daily basis?
Yes.
Do you know where that place is?
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
I mean, but here, you know, you have the normal type of thing, right? There's so many blocks going through
Yep.
that there are different ways to approach it. But basically, if you have a node or something, you'll be able to get that information. And Gamma, you know who Gamma is, right?
I do.
Gamma, hands down, has put up the best site for me to be able to go check validator status, because I'm able to go do that. But it's not aggregated, but I mean, it is aggregated, but like he doesn't have all validators validating everywhere and what their values are available on that screen, but he's using his RPC node. And so the information is, yes, available, but it's likely you got to do something a little bit special to aggregate that
Right.
data, capture it, and get the next block and just keep it up to date. Either that or you're running your own nodes. But for what purpose, Fast?
Well, more just to look at the inflationary or deflationary value of Pulse, right? As things move forward, um, the um, the concept of, yeah, is there more Pulse today than there was yesterday? And
Yeah.
apart from just taking a screenshot on the block explorer, how can I figure that out?
More pulse that came out through validating, or does more pulse exist?
Well, that's the only mechanism where new Pulse exists, isn't it? Is via the validators. You're getting paid to validate.
Yes. Yes, but I think it gets into the detail what you're trying to do with it. I'm probably not the right person to answer this, but I did build something that goes and gets me information. Oh, Frank White says Apex has it,
Yeah,
apex.com.
yeah. He just sent me a link to that. Do you have a
Yeah.
link? Pulse chain charts, active wallets.
Yeah, it may already have that. Some people, that's what I mean. There's like these niche areas, like the Apex Win guys, um, that do certain things, you know, and they pull the information together. Like me personally, I'm not sure what knowing exactly how much pulse exists is helpful to me, but I acknowledge that it might be helpful to somebody, right? And whatever they're trying
Yep.
to do, and whatever narrative they might be trying to push. You know? It's just, you know, like I can go tell you like right now what all the block rewards have been for the last day and a half. But you know, to be able to get more than that, I would need to store it, verify the information, have a database, you know, run the thing continuously, you know, just to keep it up to date, and then, you know, try to be able to hit some sort of service level that I actually have all the good information. I
Can
mean,
I share the screen?
you
This is what Frank sent us here. So it's
can.
apphex.win. It's got various pieces of data, but I think the one I want to answer my question is this: Pulse issued dash burned, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Looks like visually looks like a downward angle.
Indeed, yeah. It looks like it looks deflationary to me. I see here, yeah, negative
Yeah,
129 million. Okay, and that's today. Okay, 1 day time frame
mm.
down
maybe
129 million.
maybe somebody could answer this in the chat too. Maybe Frank will do it. Um,
Good chance.
in the case of Pulse, does it actually gets burned? Like there are less units in aggregate, right? So
I
I
suspect
think
so.
that's
I
the
think it.
case. You know, rather than
Yeah,
like you can go check like the 369 address or the dead address. I'm sure there's pulse in there. Is that truly burned? It's not. It's still on chain, but it's inaccessible, right?
here we go. PLS supply chain 30-day average inflation. Right. So which is looks like negative as well. So lately in the last 30 days, it looks like Pulse is deflationary. So that's some people will like this knowledge, right? Like it
Yeah,
could be inflationary,
yeah.
but currently it's not. It's getting burned for transactions. which is greater than the amount that goes out to validators.
Yeah, Frank's saying it's burnt in chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
that's positive too, right? I mean, the more burning that goes on with the pulse, the better the tokenomics for pulse are long term, right? Because everybody's got to use the pulse. But that's kind of like, that's also, that's kind of meaning we're going to go back and forth through it. So there's demand for pulse. Every time somebody sets a new token up, there's more demand for pulse. You can look at it like that too. Because if you set up a new token, you got to have liquidity. The liquidity primary pair should, in most cases, there's edge cases, should be pulse. And which means, like, if you're going to do let's just say a smallish token, reasonable 10K, right? You need 10K in pulse, right? So that's a lot of 10Ks. I mean, what pump.tires right now? 6K, right? So 6K pulse has to be put into pump.tires in order to actually launch. Maybe it's 7, but it's right in that kind of range, a little bit below 10K in USD. So in any case, my point is that 200 million is a 200 million tranche that's needed for each and every token.
That you have to get.
Plus,
pump.tires burns pulse as well. There's some stuff. There's a fee that comes out there where it gets burned, so it's part of that deflationary process.
Or prior to it launching, yes, or during the launch.
Right. Yeah. When it's only tradable on pump.tires. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it swaps over to switches over to PulseX, then PulseX is getting burned.
Well, that's great. I got my question answered. Not by you, but it was fantastic regardless. Thank you, Frank.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't have the information. But that's why I didn't get a $2 super chat. I got
that's
it.
True.
Her sticker. I did get a 99-cent one though, so maybe this week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why you have me on here, Crispy. I bring in the big money.
Big money. Big money. Big money. So what else is going on? We have liquidity pairs are exciting. If you don't believe me, go watch the pools.
Yeah, liquidity providing and holding. I think those are the big money makers for most people this cycle, in my opinion. We'll find out if I'm right, but I don't think the trading.
Yeah.
Unless you got the crystal ball.
So I think you heard me talk about a bunch of times with Maddie on his show and other places. Like I'm a proponent for planning, and I haven't been saying to people, hey, you should be selling your tokens and get out because the top isn't here per se, but I'm all for planning ahead. And so I've been talking to people for over a year about getting, getting into place with, like stable pools. Yep. or at least the stable LP token, some things so you have a feel for what you're doing if you're not moving everything off chain. But damn, didn't it turn out kind of like weird that, probably a year ago, depending on the timing, if you took a few $100s out of something and put it into a stable to stable pair on one of the dexes, one of the protocols, you would have been earning rewards all this time, yield and stables, and you can actually buy those tokens back, at least the numeric count, right? Because the prices have deflated so much. So
yeah, when we say DCA out, it doesn't mean DCA out, leave the chain and send that to fiat currency to your bank account.
Be like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Get out of here.
Just going. Make some deal on stables all through the bear market. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good goal to do that. I think certainly if you're in stables, and you have a good amount of them and you're not moving them off chain. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you put them to work? Now you want to be careful about what that means and what that is. There's certain things you don't want to get involved in and do, but like even though they're stables, there's still V2 pools And, you know, as you're going back and forth between the V2 pools, if you're like, if you want to match something up and you're going to do a swap, you're paying fees, and you get, sometimes you're getting hit with loss, you know, and slippage.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you know, $10,000 doesn't feel like a lot, but 50, 60 bucks is kind of normal, right? And you're just going from one stable to another. So it was slow moving with that, but you could, yeah, why wouldn't you try to do that?
And you could be in more than one place, right? Like you could add, you know, you had $50 a day to different farms in different places, right? Because PulseChain, the fees are so cheap, you don't have to do $10,000 transactions. It's, you know, it's not
No.
a huge savings like back in the day on Ethereum where you'd be like, well, I gotta sell $10,000 because it costs $400 in gas fees every time I do. Well, that's not the case, right? It might be costing you 10 cents to add liquidity, or 20 cents to do a swap depending on the day. Like it's not an arm and a leg. So you can totally be farming 10 different places with like $500 in each one. That's fine.
Yeah, there's a little bit of loss of efficiency by being too spread out on things, but you're technically right. You can be in, yeah, because it's hard. You know, I'm sure nobody else has ever forgotten a wallet that they had, right?
Fair enough.
So
But well, you don't
there
have to
there's
mix
some
up your
things.
wallets necessarily, right? You could have
I
like
know
10 farms in one wallet, right? That are, accessible
you
via
you do.
the same passphrase.
Yeah, you could
Depends on
do
the
that.
dollars.
Mm.
But
Hey,
but there's some tools though where you can manage things like that, like what's called Hocus Pocus. Hold on, let me check my websites. Farming Wizard, yeah, Hocus Pocus.finance. Their farming wizard. You can access all the PulseX farms, all the 2Fox farms, and most other farms on the Pulse chain, including the emit farms, and you can harvest them, add liquidity, all from one page.
yeah, I like some of that. Yeah, yeah,
So
because
it's
you're
like
able to see it
you
all
still have
there.
to press the button, but
Mm.
it's not as much searching for like where are my farms. They're all on one page.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, that's fair. Ultra Bullish has a question for you. Anybody know how much money, how many dollars are in the no expectations address from the PulseX fees? Is it doing anything?
Good
I
question.
I
I've
don't
heard
even
of
know what.
this address, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't either. Maybe somebody in the chat does.
I think it's a bunch of dollars.
Now, I did not put Shell Fox up to this, but this is my belief, purely belief, no proof yet. Other than I know T-shares will be more expensive in HEX terms, but DCA and the T-shares on your on-chain savings account better than the stables to me. Very true. I think that
Long term, that
it,
could be the case.
it could be the case. I
Shares
mean,
go up, and the U.S. dollar tends to go down, as far as I can tell.
so I'm walking the walk. I Quattro Cinco this month. How about you, bud? Right.
I
And
Quattro
so,
Cinco 4 months ago.
yeah. And that's okay too, because some people are doing quarterly, some to yearly or whatever, but it is, Quattro Cinco and has fallen off. Staking has fallen off. Though I did see Ben Sierra's report, which he's been doing a good job of looking at stuff, getting into some of the detail. Yeah, we see ebbs and flows. As people get excited about short-term staking a little bit, and some people do, they'll get some things in there. And so we've seen kind of like a few years out, maybe an increase in the amount of staking, but not overall, right? T-shares still coming down, and they're going up in cost of HEX. And so, as Mike Crypt is saying, HEX was supposed to be our store of value by staking, keeping money in PulseChain, but it's a long way to go since 55 cents. You're right. That's true. Nowhere near 55 cents. But I'm still a strong believer that it is going to be the store of value. But I can't prove it to you. So it's belief, right? I
Find
mean,
out. Yep.
I can show you what some people have done and why I think that and all that kind of stuff. But it's really going to come down to users, come down to what users choose to do, and probably some of the big players, right? But I just have that sense that I believe that HEX will be the store of value. But we're going to keep watching to see. I mean, and so I've taken kind of the standpoint, like I've taken the standpoint of you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be millions of dollars worth of value, right? Like for regular people, right? Which I consider myself to be like a regular Joe kind of guy, even though my name's Chris. Right? Like, yeah, I do not want to miss out on being exposed, knowing all the negative shit people are going to say about staking. I do not want to miss that boat. I'm going to be in, I'm going to have my ladder as long as I'm breathing, right? I'll just keep adding to my ladder in a logical sense. I don't have to be the biggest. I don't have to be the smallest, but I'm going to keep it in place. Because I mean, we've talked about this, I think, last time too. But the idea that some things could happen that I can't guarantee will happen that affect staking, and suddenly the only way you got exposure to that was if you were staked in HEX. Oh, that's for HEX believers. This for people that are going to want to believe that and want to take that asymmetrical risk. Because I can find 10 people to tell you right now, probably someone watching the chat would be like, you do much better if you just try to catch the top. And I acknowledge that that's possible, but
if you have a crystal ball, that's a great plan.
There's risk. Well, you know, I think I said a couple of weeks ago in one of my streams, I've kind of adjusted my thinking about how much to keep liquid, because when I was making APR and I had my ladder in place, I'm a higher APR. I'm not selling it, I'm rolling it. So it made so much more sense to keep it in. But now with, the feeling of not knowing when price will move or if it'll move, then, rather than being like 100% allocated to staking, maybe what people would consider to be real super conservative is like 10% is liquid. Some people are going 20%. And a lot of people are like, nope, I'm not even restaking. But here's the thing with the no restaking, those T shares just keep getting more expensive, and you just can't get the T shares back. You just can't do it. I mean, there's some of us maybe have enough HEX that they could do it, but most people not.
Hey, Crispy, with the assistance of Frank White, I can answer the earlier question about the no expectations PulseX address.
Oh, do it.
I've shared it on the screen here.
Let's do it.
It's like there's $5 million of PulseX in there, and then a bunch of crap that people sent it, probably.
Damn, that's a lot of PulseX. Woo.
Yeah, 5. Well, not relative to the whole, but yeah, it's not nothing. But there's not much going on there. No transfers for 24 months. No transactions rather for 24 months. So yeah, it's there. Is it doing anything? No.
Is this one of these deals where that count goes up through internal transactions and deposits that don't show up as underneath the transactions tab?
No internal transactions.
Yeah, I don't have a good read on what's going on here.
Okay, and the token transfers are all coming in. So like often, right? So on every sale, there's a relatively small amount of PulseX going in there, I think is what's happening.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting.
You should have no expectations of this account, is what I'm told. But
well, what could it possibly do other than, I guess, be used for something? But if it's used for something, then it's going to end up being a swap out, which would drive that price down, unless it was used for LP, in which case maybe it would strengthen a bond.
Yep.
I don't
But
know.
it's not that much money when you think about it. Like there's $5 million of PulseX there, which we know won't actually net 5 million if you try to sell that right now. If like, you know, if that 5 million was somebody's paycheck for launching a fork of Ethereum, I'd say that was probably fair game.
Mhm. Yeah, very interesting. So this was the dev wallet. Is that what that was?
That's the dev address, yeah.
Yeah.
See, the no expectations address. Well, I don't know what that means, right? I don't know if it's like the actual dev or if it's you know, if that's a treasury of sorts, or like you said, if it's to be used with liquidity, or like maybe we see it get burnt, right? Like people can't make too many assumptions about stuff like that. But considering like what we've seen from the OA wallet in the past, like I'm not too worried about $5 million worth of tokens. Like how many millions in hex is in the OA account? I think more, like lots. So
Mhm.
yeah, not too concerned about that $5 million.
Yeah, this is another one of these areas I took my eyes off of. You know, like, is it important? Yes, but I'm not concerned with tracking it. You know,
Yeah.
at
I
this
pretty
point,
much
you know,
gave
like,
up wallet watching it, like at all. It's I don't think it's that beneficial, right? Like you scare yourself, you give yourself, you know, false hope. It's, you know, it's not really something that's productive for most people. I know some people do well with it, but I think mostly it generates fear of various types that maybe just wouldn't be there if you weren't watching.
end up with the FOMOs and the FUDs.
Yeah,
Give yourself the
the
FUDs.
FOMOs, the FUDs.
Not everybody can handle that. Their stomach gets a little upset. You know.
Mm-mm.
Um, so hey, this is Shell Fox is asking us, what's the PulseX burn percentage, excluding OA if you have it?
Let's find out.
You got a
Probably knew
screen
that
up
off the
there?
top of my head.
99.99%. I don't know.
99.99. Okay. That'd be a good number.
I've been watching that pair though, range PulseX. Keeping an eye on that. That was a good opportunity. I don't know what's going to happen with it in the future. You know, they'll continue to do this kind of like pole dance. You know, where it kind of flips over the top and comes back underneath and all that. But the getting in and doing some LP on PulseX while it was going through its situation worked out pretty well for
Yep.
me because I did a little bit my test position type stuff. I did a little bit where I deposited PulseX, right? And so the risk was PulseX is going to keep going up, and then I'm going to lose the PulseX, right? And it did
Right.
go up. It did go up, but what it did is created a range where, at that time, it was then trading back and forth pretty violently, and then we had the guy come in and do the dump and brought it in. And so I ended up with all my PulseX back and a nice little bag of rewards of Pulse and PulseX. I see RH Max. He's making me talk about Hex. I don't know.
Oh dear. Before we do that, though, the answer to the buy and burn on PulseX. So it's a PulseX has a 0.29% fee, and 21% of that fee could be used is used for the buy and burn.
Oh, I think you actually want to know how much has been burned.
Well, it's about 0.06%. Oh, he's looking for an amount that was burned.
Yeah, how much was burned?
Okay. Well, okay. I'll get that data too. I'm sure it
You
is
know
also.
they, they ain't making that PulseX anymore.
Yeah. Can only be less. PulseX is not inflationary.
No, it is not. It is not. While you're looking that up, shout out to RH Max on his previous conference, and I believe Hex Week is coming up here shortly. So if anybody is interested in speaking about Hex, which I urge you to do so, even if it's even if it's negative, you got some criticisms, contact RHMX when he puts his little Twitter post out and see if you get on the schedule to do that. I think having more people talk about things and having good debate is good.
Yep, agreed.
We're looking for you, Shellfox, right now. See if we can figure this
I'm on
out.
it, man. Working as fast as I can, sir.
I don't know. I don't hear your fingers tapping anymore, so I can't tell.
Looking.
Let me see what else is going on. Maybe what does that whole hex look like? You know, I'm just pulling up the chart real quick here. You know, remember I was talking about those buys signals that would come in on that?
Yep.
I got a little bit of crap from people on that one too. They're like, how many more buy signals are gonna be?
So I have the data. So
Do
it's
it.
about 1% of the supply has been burned, which is 1,430 billion pulse X has been burned.
Very
So it's about
nice.
$600,000 worth at today's prices.
Keep burning, baby. I pulled up
Yeah.
this this trading view chart again that I have up here. So I was pretty excited about this. Again, I'm living in the geeky geek world, right, of this, because I'm looking for the holy grail to kind of like help me divine what's going to happen. But some of you may have seen me post about the buy signals. These are pretty rare to come in. They're as we were looking at the other charts, right? You get the buy signals every 3 or 4 years, right? It's not like normal to get them on a regular basis. Now, with the launch of PulseChain, things were a little bit different. We did get a whole bunch of buy signals back here in 2024 on HEX, which just means that, at least according to the golden ratio, we were getting to a point that it was just way oversold. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we moved upwards and got a nice big bump, and then all the way up to that 3-cent mark, which, if you had bought it down here at the low, was something like a 7x, right? So will that happen again? Don't know. Maybe higher, maybe a little bit less. But we have received four buy signals. Bloop, 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 bloop. And it's not that the message with that isn't, hey, you should go all in when you see a buy signal. This is like a strong indication to start DCing in. I mean, everybody's going to have their own plan and do your own research, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you would do that and then bring it in. And so right now, if you had been DCing in, I know a lot of people might not have any dry powder, but if you had been DCing in from the time we got that first buy signal to the time we got the last one, your likely average acquisition is lower than the current price in USC. So you're in profit.
Good chance.
You know, it's so funny because I you know, I'm like everybody else, man. I just want to blow this stuff off when I see it. I'm like, yeah, just tell me one more time that it's a good time to buy, right? Yeah, just one more time, tell me that it's a good time to buy. It's always a good time to buy, you know. But that's what I'm saying is I try to look at some of this stuff and be like, wow, what happened? So it came down, and you know, now we're up here. What this buy signal was higher than the current price, but the other ones were below. And we knew that things were getting a little tight. Maybe this is kind of like drooping W.
I don't really look at this kind of stuff too much. I rely on others and like you for this data, but to me, like I look at like events, like dates on the calendar, right? And I know Richard's talked about this massive, never before seen marketing and things like that. And there's going to, you know, millions of pieces going out, and it's going to be interesting. So as far as buy signals, like that's my buy signal. Is like, okay, Richard's waking up and something is happening. I find that more
Yeah,
interesting.
I find it pretty interesting too, but I don't know, dude. I just don't subscribe to Richard will save me. I mean, I like it. I like the idea of it. You know, like, but
Like it's
I
not it this is about actual events though, right? It's not just
yeah.
like Richard will save me in terms of like, okay, he's gonna deploy the sack bags. I don't think people should rely on that as like the given. Though he has talked about the sack bags recently. I find that interesting. But it's more like the marketing, like actual things are gonna happen that I believe will not have a net zero effect on the pulse chain, and I believe will be positive. So like when that marketing hits, like that's it, and it won't be like a one shot, like one day there's millions of whatever electronic devices that have batteries. We don't know what they are. They go out all over the world to people with money, probably. I think that's going to be interesting.
Hmm.
So I find that more bullish than the charts, generally speaking.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I was looking at this last time. This is EHEX. This last time
Yeah.
back in 24, we had gotten a series of 8 of them in a row for EHEX, and the price still went down below that, but
Hmm.
it did eventually do a 4.5, 5x from that price. I always
Okay.
like look at this stuff. It's like, well, because like I try to figure out whether or not it makes sense to take this seriously. Like 10 buy signals came in, did a 4x, and this is back in 23. That was right after launch. We go back before launch. You can see we get some predictions. Then you have one-offs like this. Like, where'd this come from? This is a buy way up here at 18 cents. But then we didn't go in that direction, came down. So it's not perfect. But the additional ones, turned out to be something for someone for a period of time. For people want to do like swing trades. And I guess that's all I got for data. This goes all the way back to what, 21? Um,
Yeah, EHEX is more than 5 years old, so yeah, there's way more data there. The as far as the scientific measurement on that data, when I understand on Bitcoin or Ethereum there's a lot of liquidity, but with these lower liquidity things, I think events are more likely to swing them more dramatically than they are with Bitcoin or Ethereum, like we saw with the SEC FUD, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we can't get away from the fact that um, rumors and news, right, make a big
Yep.
difference because it does make
So
because not every it for whatever reason, whether they're really right and really smart or not, right? People are affected by the FUD and by the FOMO, and some people are reacting to it and they'll do stuff. And then other people are going to try to take advantage of it and do stuff. And anyways, that can create momentum and value shifting. And then yeah, you see things move pretty quickly. And it can be really odd and go in the wrong direction too. Like I looked at some stuff while we were having the pump and I'm like, why is this one red? Like what is this person thinking? Well, everything else in the chain is going up, right? Well, it's because somebody who had enough, for whatever reason, decided that was the time that they needed to take the value and switch, right? So we're not immune to those effects, right? Shell Fox saying burn supply before bull run. And it's interesting to guess what percentage we might see in the bull. Yeah, my guess with this Shell Fox is we're going to see more, MOOR, more, MOAR, more. So we'll see. Beach Will saying you can go to Go Pulse. It has it right on the screen. See what the status is. Yo, Nate Mick, get it? I just don't think you get it. I see RJ, KRJ Crypto. How you doing?
those guys.
If you get a chance to go check out his stuff,
Yeah,
Daddy
Teddy
Bear
Bear. Yeah,
on TikTok. Oh, let me see.
he
Do I
makes
have?
the best videos and like animations on PulseChain. I don't.
Yeah,
He's a well
did I
kept secret.
did I load it last time? Here, let me load it. You want me to load my video that he
Sure.
made for me? I don't know that I
Yeah.
actually
No, I
have
don't
it
think I've seen
available.
it.
We're gonna see if I can find it. Video clips. That's what I'm supposed to do. Video clips, right? Let's see if I can load this, and then let me do it. He made this one for me. He was just talking about what he was doing one day, and he was able to very quickly produce this. It was pretty funny. I thought it was funny, anyways. I'm easily entertained though.
That's true.
It got me all excited. I'm just taking a moment. I'm thinking, my brain's spinning in my cranium, man.
Yeah, definitely good stuff. I think more people should be leveraging his talents. He can make great AI stuff, AI songs too. He had some hilarious songs that he made for various things that I thought were pretty cool.
All right, so what do
Pretty
you
sure it
think?
wasn't him singing.
What do you think my video is about? Take a
I'm
guess.
guessing Hex. Is it Hex?
It is. Let's see what it.
Oh.
Let's see
Yes.
how this looks. Let's hope hopefully it plays.
Yo, T, urgent hex buy signal. Charts flaming hot.
Golden ratio, huh? That's how legends stack T-shares.
Get them while they're crispy, folks. This window won't stay open long.
Stake smart. Win big. Time rewards those who act.
Stay crispy, Hexicans.
You gotta move it, move it. Feel the rhythm of the blockchain.
Very interesting.
That was a fun little one, right?
What's crispy, like, and it was crispy chicken
Yeah,
or
no,
cheese or something, you know, like that worked well.
dude, I walk around, there's, and people will be like, "Hey, what's your name?" I'm like at Starbucks or something, right? And I'll be like, "Crispy," and they're like, "Crispy." I go, like the chicken, crispy. Oh, okay, all right, so it goes.
I mean, you should see what they say when I tell them my name's Fast Abdul. It's not what they're expecting.
They're like, you don't seem that fast, right?
I'm not that fast.
Hex Farmer saying LPX loves all tokens. Yes, we're watching the LPX launch. Probably should do a couple things. I'll put a couple things. Watching the LPX launch pretty closely to see how that's working out. For those who don't know, there's a project called PlusX. I've talked about it in streams before, but I think we talked about it last week. I begin to blur these things together. But anyways, they launched a market making series of contracts that allow you to do market making on tokens. And so we're watching that. They launched cores last week. They've been running. I think it's going to take about a month to get really good data on what they do. But the basics are this: it's a contract or a series of contracts, depends how you want to look at it, that tries to take advantage of volatility in the market by selling high and buying low. So sell high, buy low, and to do it in such a way that it makes a profit, and that profit is used to back the price of whatever the asset is, or somebody could actually withdraw it as fees. And so we've been watching that that's from the Up and Up X guys. That's been going on. I'll probably give you guys
almost like a new way to provide liquidity, right? Like, I know it's not exactly the same, but it's, almost like we have V2, we have V3, we have FUX, and then now we have LPX. It's like another liquidity providing option in a way.
Yeah. It's kind of like stealth liquidity, black liquidity, hidden liquidity. Because it's not actually available on the market per se, right? And which makes it advantageous. Like okay, so I want to go make fees on two different tokens, Pulse and Pulse is a good example. And right now, if I do like the general pair, it's big on V2, right? And so if I was really trying to make fees, like, well, I don't even know if I want to do that for 2% or 3%. Yeah, there's days when it goes high and there's a lot of volume, and so maybe it's higher than that on average. But I could farm it, and I forget what the farm fee is, but it's low. So I might say, well, no, I'm going to go do a V3. But then I don't know what these cats are going to do, right? meaning you guys, whoever's out there and pushing buttons, right? And then all of a sudden you decide now's the time that PulseX is going to outperform Pulse. And then because I went to V3 and I set up a V3 pair, now I just sold all my PulseX, or I just sold all my Pulse, and I'm sitting in illiquid loss or impermanent loss on the other token. Now, sure, in that case, the one the example I had is probably going to range back, but there's some tokens they just go out of whack and never come back, right? And that rhymes, and you can use that in a song.
Yes.
I'll do that, but anyways, the idea being that that could happen, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, let's keep an eye on that, because once they set up more tokens, especially when they open it up to all tokens, I think that could be pretty interesting. It's not going to replace liquidity providing or farming. Those are different things, different risk levels, but it could be part of the package.
Yeah, that could be. I've been watching the other thing I've been watching is Solid Trader.
Yeah.
And just what's going on with that. That's the Telegram bot that Solid HEX launched and it put out. It's top of the line stuff, but that's out there now.
Paid 150K for that. Like, it wasn't free. Like, he literally paid 150K for it. Like, it's it's pretty decent tech to be able to use for free. You can people can use it for free, but it was not free to come.
There's a small fee included, but yeah, I mean everybody can use it. It was fast as hell, man. I did a buy through it, and it was like, like if I ever did a swap like on Pidius or on PulseX, and like a fast swap would be probably be like a 7-second count, like 1, 2, like that would have been fast. This thing was like whoop, done. I was like, oh man, wow. Like, it was quick. Plus it has things like limit orders and that type of stuff. You guys go look at that.
I think the limit orders is really cool, because we really kind of need a good solution for that on PulseChain. So if this is the solution, this could actually be huge. I'm not really into limit orders at the moment. I don't have a need, but like when I do, I'll be happy to have that.
Yeah, and I think it's just important for people to know that they need to. I believe that you need to have like a hot wallet type of approach to it. Like the type of security approach is a hot wallet type, right? Because
so that you're always transferring your funds out of there, right? Like you don't leave them in the bot.
Yeah, I mean it depends on your current situation, your specific situation. But yeah. I mean, like you don't want to risk too much in something that the future could change. I'm not talking about what he's doing in his bot, but I mean it is Telegram, in that way. But I think, anyways, I liked it. Worked really good. I hear there's some good stuff going on. There's a new token that launched, Rhino Fi, and I don't know the name of the website, but that came out. Burning Solid X. I think like 4K of Solid X got burned. Gelato's still out there burning Solid X. That's clipping.
It's rhinofi.win. RHINOFI.win.
Rhinofi. So that's clicking. Those guys are clicking along with what they're doing. And then what else is going on? Oh, the game is coming.
That's right.
And there may be some other things happening that will, I don't know. I didn't listen to him yesterday on the, I wanted to, I didn't listen though yet to the recording. He was out on X, talking about different things on PulseChain. And he is a true believer, right? And PulseChain, HEX, the ecosystem, even though we're in this pseudo kind of maxi position, anybody who's done anything other than just buy HEX, right? But I don't know how you can really avoid it. It's like, we're all doing something. Almost everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, almost everybody's doing a little something that isn't just HEX. Because I'll tell you what, they're doing something and they ain't doing HEX staking. So we'll go back to that. But anyways, so that stuff's going on. So there may be some other ways, other tools coming that'll be pretty exciting. And then we also are looking to see, see the X Games launch. And the X game launch could be it's going to be, I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, I tend to
I think
not,
it's going to be a multi-chain thing too. It's not
yeah,
just going to be
I
Pulse.
tend not to be insane, like with my conjecture, even though some people think I am, like I could have 10,000 X, but I mean, I just can't imagine how, if you're going to be on like 6 or 7 different chains and people can play a game, and the game that they're going to play, yeah, it's gambling. That's why he's getting a gambling license, right? And by the way, that's his business. Multi-millionaire in that business. That's what he does, right?
Yeah,
And it's
guy runs online casinos. He knows what he's doing.
and so we're bringing it to PulseChain and Base and Sol, so I mean, and wherever else it's going. Well, that a lot of that values being, the fees for that are coming back in a benevolent fashion to the PulseChain to buy and burn solid X. So pretty exciting. And
I like that idea.
Shellfox was saying 7.46% total supply burn before the bull. That can't be true. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe it is true. I don't know. We'd have to go look that up. RH Max is saying, bring your criticisms here to die. Signups are imminent. Come do the signups.
That's for his. He's going to do. It's not a Hex conference, but it's like a Hex week kind of thing, where there's going to be, like days of streams with Hex as a theme. He'll be looking for guests.
Can you do a Jack Nicholson impression? You ever see his the meme video?
Like the Here's Johnny one?
No,
Here's Johnny. Like that?
One. I like that one. I like the one that he goes, yeah. So here we go. This is where you do this right here. This is from Brightlight. Hey, Brightlight, haven't seen you for a while. This is how they go, yes. Yes, Brightlight. People will say we were all lucky soon. Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know. I can't do De Niro either. So.
No.
I could try. Some funny stuff. All right. Well, you guys is there any more questions out here that we should hit on? I'm trying to go through the chat. Nate McGettit, don't you call me crispy chicken. It's okay. I say it all the time to people, crispy chicken. Well, that's why we got the nuggets, man. I got nugget, the golden nugget. Crispy nugget. I got to do one of those this week. Got the LPX guys talking about LPX here.
Good.
I made an AI.
I'm gonna say that people should like and share to Twitter, folks. Best thing you can do for your bags. Expose more people to Fast Abdul and Crispy Man.
Woohoo! Shellfox said, I made an AI song called Feeling PulseChain. The lyrics are pretty deep. I got a feeling in my ball. And it says, and it's saying PulseChain. I don't know, man. You should start, maybe you should do like, what is, when we do like a football game and we're doing the cards and you have what are those cards called?
Cards?
You do
like
the matrix.
Red card.
You do the matrix and you got the 6x6 or the 10x10 and you have the numbers for betting. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not my thing. I'm not a sports bettor.
Not a sports bettor.
It's like playing the odds or the spread.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. I had my brother-in-law. He went into that hard. And he told me one day, and I was like, oh no, like thinking the rest of the story would be terrible. But he got so good at it that he got banned on every site where you could sports bet. Like they blocked him on every site. But he wasn't betting on like, American football. He was betting on like Lithuanian women's like basketball and stuff like that. Like he'd find these weird niche things, and it was all by the numbers he was running. He had spreadsheets for everything. He was making, he'd win 60% of the time, but he was only able to do it for about a year, and then they all shut him down. So that's an example of not decentralization.
That is not decentralized. No.
Yep.
All right. Fat Sammy, saying thanks for the consistent streaming for PulseChain, guys. You're both legends. Thank you, Fat
Every
Sammy.
Tuesday, tune in.
And I was saying, now this is the most important piece right here, my friend. Been accumulating my HEX recently. We did an 80% move in 4 days. I know, dude. I just showed that on the screen. I don't know if anybody else picked up on it. I mean, that's exactly what I'm getting at. I mean, the signals come in. It's like, hey, it's really a good time to buy. But how many people like, oh, I can't buy anymore, right? But man, wait just wait. I know people say it can't happen, but wait until we're at $1. Let's see what happens then. Bum, bum, bum. And I guess we said his name. Devs are cooking, Tiago says. Thank you, Tiago, for the super chat.
See
man.
his name in your
Much
appearance.
much
And look
appreciated.
at that. Yeah, 100 euros, Crispy.
Is that euros? I thought they were
That's
backward.
euros.
I thought that was a backward E.
It could be. It could be 100 ink.
It could be.
I
Hey,
suspect it's euros.
Thank you, Tiago. Yeah. I mean, and more importantly, thank you for putting everything into this that you have. I mean, it's huge. People, I know that you're pretty quiet about it, but I know you put a lot of effort and have done a lot to support the chain. So I appreciate it. And Shell Fox says he appreciates you too. Yeah, Beached Whale. I only saw part of the LPX stuff on RH Max today. It's probably I just didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. I probably can tell you everything they said though. I'm pretty deep in trying to understand how it's working, because I'm like how many fractions of a token. This isn't what anybody else needs to do, but I'm like, how many fractions of a token did I yield today? And am I down minus 0.3%, or is it minus 0.18%? And what could happen? But anyways,
I don't think everybody's asking those questions. But RH's Max's stream, I did watch a good part of it, and it was very thorough. And they have basically their whole team on there. So if you want to rewatch something to learn about LPX, I would check that out. Or check out RH Max, which you should be doing anyway, because he's a stand-up dude.
I've seen him standing up for a couple of years now. So I
too. He's taller than me. I really don't like that, but I still like him, I guess.
My favorite surgical trainer is here. Fast and crispiest.
Hey, Johnny.
Fast and crispiest. Yeah. Oh, I get that. Hey, man, we should do our own parody. Maybe we get this guy to help us make the parody, right?
We could.
Instead of Fast and Furious, Fast and Crispy. It's ish. Yes, that'd be kind of funny to do that. Johnny
quite have this Fast and Crispy. We don't have to do crispiest,
Yeah. That'd be but it kind of, yeah. And Johnny still has his experimental surgical trainers token out there, STM, which has been quite interesting. Basically a stablecoin with upside potential. Another experiment to go watch.
Good concept.
That's something he secured with USDC, and as he likes to say, there's no hands in the cookie jar, and so it's got a base with a price, and the only way people can get the tokens is they have to pull it out of V3, which increases the price, which means that if they turn around and sell it, the price is still at that price, and they can't get it down below $1. A few people have tried. I've seen some people come in and try to shake that tree a little bit, and try to like buy a few $1,000s worth and then drop it and see if they can make it go down, but it can't go down. It can't, in that pool, it cannot make it drop. Right? Because it's already
because it's V3 single-sided or set with a set range, right? So you'd go outside that range and you can no longer sell. Of course, somebody else could create a pool, but why would they do that?
Yep, exactly. I see Pulse Wave Vibe here. You're welcome. Thanks for the alpha, guys. We're about ready to roll it up here. Nate McGettick, man, I can't watch any more Sami videos than I already watch. I mean, they just come. They show up when I'm sleeping, when I'm awake. They're all the 724. I mean, it's like the stream version of Fast Abdul.
Hmm.
You know,
He is he does put in the time, that's for sure. Oh,
All right.
Nate is live on YouTube right now. I think he was streaming us on his stream, and now and now he's streaming Somi on his stream. So
Oh, okay.
that's
Got
good.
it. Very good.
I get it now.
Very good.
He was live. Yeah.
Good thing
Fast
you
and
get
crispy.
it. Good thing Nate gets
Sandy
it.
gets it.
All right. And Sandy gets it. So I think we should end the stream right here. I don't have anything else unless you got something you want to bring up.
I think I covered most of the details of what's going on. If you're looking for stablecoin farms, check out 2phux.io. Top paying farms about 150% APR at this second.
Woo.
It's worth looking at, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Thanks for having me, Crispy.
Oh yeah, of course, buddy. And good to see you for sure. For sure. So with that, come back for another one. You have some requests, you have some comments, some questions, let us know. Drop them in the chat afterwards or contact us on the old X. You can get me at HexFire.io on the Hex. And on that note, stay crispy. Let me see if I can figure out how to end the stream. Sometimes I can't figure it out. It took me a while to figure out that outro was a real word. And with that, here's the outro.